हाँ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ. Good morning, everyone. So, we should see about today inference engines. An expert system that has three level of organization, a working memory, an inference engine, and a knowledge base. The inference engine is the control of the execution of reasoning rules. This means that it can be used to deduce new knowledge from existing information. The inference engine is the core of an expert system and acts as the general control mechanism that applies the axiomatic knowledge from the knowledge base to the task specific data to reach some conclusion. Two techniques for drawing inferences are general logic based inference engines and specialized algorithms. Many realistic web applications will operate agent to agent without human interventions to spot glitches in reasoning. Therefore, developers will need to have complete confidence in reasoner, otherwise they will cease to trust the results. Doubting unexpected results makes a reasoner useless. This is how inference engine works. There are two kinds of inference, forward and backward chaining. Forward chaining. In forward chaining, the data is put into working memory. This triggers rules whose conditions match the new data. These rules then perform their actions. The action may add new data to memory, thus triggering more rules and so on. This is also called data directed inference because inference is triggered by arrival of new data in working memory. Consider iterating continuously through the following set of rules until you reach a conclusion. Rule 1, if A and C, then F. Four rules are there. Okay. To prove that D is true, given that A and B are true, we start with rule 1 and go on down the list until a rule that fires is found. That is, until the rule is true. In this case, rule 3 is only one that fires in the first iteration. At the end of first iteration, it can be concluded that A, B, and E are true. This information is used in the second iteration. In the second iteration, rule 2 fires, adding the information that J is true. This extra information causes rule 4 to fire, proving that D is true. This is the method of forward chaining, where one proceeds from a given situation toward a desired goal, adding new assertions along the way. This strategy is appropriate in situations where data are expensive to collect and few are available. Next is backward chaining. In backward chaining, the system needs to know the value of piece of data. It searches for rules whose conclusions mention this data. Before it can use the rules, it must test their conditions. This may entail discovering the value of more pieces of data and so on. This is also called goal-directed inference or hypothesis-driven because inferences are not performed until the system is made to prove a particular goal. In backward chaining, we start with the desired goal and then attempt to find evidence for providing the goal. Using the forward chaining example, the strategy to prove that D is true would be the following. First, find the rule that proves D. This is nothing but rule 4. The subgoal is then given to prove that G is true. Rule 2 meets this subgoal. And as it is already known that A is true. Therefore, the next subgoal is to show that E is true. Rule 3 provides the next subgoal of proving that B is true. But the fact that B is true is one of the given assertions. Therefore, E is true, which implies that G is true, which in turn implies that B is true. Backward chaining is useful in situations where the amount of data is large and where a specific characteristics of the system is of interest. Typical situations include medical diagnosis or fault finding in electrical equipment. Some expert systems use more complex methods, for example, mixtures of forward and backward chaining. Some have probability factors attached to rules, yet others store their rules in frames and trigger them when an object is recognized as matching that frame. Okay, next, tree searches. A knowledge base can be represented as a branching network or tree. There is a large number of tree searching algorithms available in the existing literature. However, the two basic approaches are depth first search and breadth first search. The depth first search algorithm begins at a node that represents either the given data, that is forward chaining, or the desired goal, which means backward chaining. It then checks to see if the leftmost node beneath the initial node is a terminal node. If it is proven, or if not, it establishes node A on a list of subgoals outstanding. It then starts with a node A and looks at the first node below it, and so on. If there are no more lower level nodes and a terminal node has not been reached, it starts from the last node on the outstanding list and takes the next route of a descent to the right. In breadth first search starts by expanding all the nodes one level below the first node. Then it systematically expands each of these nodes until a solution is reached, or else the tree is completely expanded. This process finds the shortest path from the initial assertion to a solution. However, such a search in large solution spaces can lead to huge computational cost due to an explosion in the number of nodes at a lower level in the tree. There are other methods of making inference that use a combination of two or more of the above techniques. Depending on the number of given facts and the number of possible inferences, some of these methods may be better than others in time, memory, and cost of the solution. Full first order logic inference engines. Using full first order logic for specifying axioms requires a full-fledged automated theorem prover. First order logic is semi-decidable and inferencing is computationally intractable for large amount of data and axioms. This means that in an environment such as the web, these programs would not scale up for handling huge amounts of knowledge. Besides, full first order theorem proving would mean maintaining consistency throughout the web, which is impossible. The approach taken by CYC is different. Their approach consists of roughly 1 MB of axioms using first order framework. The CYC organizes its axioms in contexts and maintains consistency just for one context. And it limits deductions for to a few steps. Compared to future web architecture, CYC is still small. An interactive theorem prover is not suitable for automated agents since they rely on user interaction. However, they may be useful to construct proofs which can be validated by automated agents. RDF inference engine. Okay, here we present the elements of a simple RDF inference engine. RDF is a system meant for stating meta information through triples, composed of a subject, a property, and an object. The subject and object can be either a designation like a URL or a set of another triple. Triple forms a simple directed graph. In the figure here, figure 8.1 shows a simple RDF example. The first triple says the Smith owns a computer, and the second triple says that there is a computer made by Apple. The third the third drawing, however, is composed of two triples, and it says that Smith owns a computer made by Apple. Suppose these triples were placed in a database. Now we can conduct a query as shown in the figure 8.2. In the first query, the question is, who owns a computer? The answer is Smith. In the second query, the question is, what make of computer are defined in the database? The third query is, it asks who owns a computer and what is the make of that computer. The query is a graph containing variables that can be matched with the graph that is in the figure 8.1. The question is, should the graph in the database be more extended? It would have to be matched with a subgraph. So generally, for executing an RDF query, that has to be done is called subgraph matching. Okay, now let us make a rule. If X owns a computer, then X must buy software. How do we represent such a rule? Okay, figure 8.3, you can see the graph representation of this particular rule. The nodes of the rule form a triple set. Here there is one antecedent, but there could be more. There is only one consequent. Rules with more than one consequent can be reduced to rules with one consequent. Figure 8.4 gives a query that will match with the consequent of the rule. The desired answer is John must buy software. The query, like in figure 8.4, is matched with the consequent of the rule. Now an action has to be taken. The antecedent of the rule have to be added to the database with the variables replaced with necessary values. Then the query has to be continued with the antecedent of the rule. The question now is, who owns a computer? This is equal to a query described earlier. A rule subgraph is treated differently from a non-rule subgraph. A triple can be modeled as a predicate. Okay, triple of subject, property, object. A set of triples equals a list of triples, and a connected graph is decomposed into a set of triples. Okay. For our example, this gives like triple John, owns, computer. Okay. Triple computer, make, Apple. This sequence is equivalent to triple of John's own computer, triple of computer, make, Apple. From figure, like in the previous figure, the triples are triple who owns computer. Okay, this figure. Who owns computer? Triple, that is computer make comma what? This sequence is equivalent to, okay, this is equivalent to triple who owns computer. Okay, both are equal. From figure 8.3, the triple is, okay, for this triple is triple of triple x owns computer implies triple x must buy software. Okay, for figure 8.4, the triple who must buy softwares. Okay, for this query. A unification algorithm for RDF can handle subgraph matching and embedded rules by the term subgraph matching with rules. The unification algorithm divides a sequence of RDF statements into sets, where each set constitutes a connected subgraph. This is called a triple set. That is done for the database and for the query. Then the algorithm matches each triplet of the query with each triple set of the database. Each triple of the triple set of the query is matched with each triple of the triple set of the database. All the triples of the query set must be unified with a triple from the database. If one triple is a rule, then unification will use the mechanism for rules. The modeling of a triple like by one's John computer is not correct because the predicate can be a variable too. The unification of algorithm can be declared by triples and rules. It can do inferencing about properties of graphs. A complex description of the nodes is possible because each node can be graph itself. Okay, that's about RDF and triples. Next topic is Symantec web applications. Okay, we shall continue this in the next class. All of you mark your attendance. Next topic I will take up in the Monday. Okay, thank you.